To properly maintain your machine, it's recommended to replace the fuel filter and pre-filter according to the maintenance schedule documented in your machine's operation and maintenance manual. To begin, park the machine on a level surface. Then stop the engine and allow the engine to cool. Now, depending on your machine, open the rear door, engine cover, access cover, or tailgate. As a precaution, visually check the water separator bowl daily for the presence of water. And only remove water from the fuel system when water is visible at the bottom of the bowl, or when notified by the water and fuel code on the display screen, and at every fuel filter replacement. To remove water from the fuel water separator, and when replacing the main fuel filter, first, place a container, absorbent mat, or a towel under the fuel filter to capture excess fuel that may escape. Next, remove the fuel and water trapped in the fuel water separator. Install an extra hose on the drain at the bottom of the fuel filter. Excavators do not need this hose, as it's already installed under the filter. And in performing this procedure on an excavator, first, rotate the upper structure 90 degrees. Route the other end of the hose into an empty container. Now loosen the drain to empty the fluid captured in the fuel water separator. And if fuel is not flowing, ensure the drain valve is fully open. Keep in mind, when only removing water, drain the water until fuel starts coming out of the drain, then close the drain valve. However, when removing fuel and water for a fuel water replacement, continue to drain the fluid until the water separator is empty. Now tighten the drain valve. Then remove the extra hose from the drain. Wipe up the area and clean up any spills. For fuel filter replacement, check the display. Service only when required, and if no warning appears, replace every 1,000 hours or annually. Disconnect the electrical connector located at the bottom of the fuel filter. Remove the fuel water separator located below the fuel filter element. If there's a clamp or bracket holding the fuel filter in place, remove it. Loosen the fuel filter enough so it can be removed by hand. However, do not loosen it too much or fluid will come out the bottom of the filter. Now place a funnel and hose below the filter to guide the fuel in the filter into the container. Drain the filter until it's empty. Then remove the fuel filter element. Wipe up the area and clean up any spills. Before installing the new filter, it's recommended to write the current date and machine hours on the filter. This will serve as a quick reference to identify the last filter change. Then apply a thin layer of clean oil on the element O-rings. Now replace the O-ring on the water separator bowl with a new O-ring. Ensure the new O-ring is correctly installed and apply a thin layer of oil on the O-ring. Install the fuel water separator bowl on the new fuel filter element. Now, install the new filter assembly onto the filter housing and tighten. And if there was a clamp or bracket holding the fuel filter in place, install it. Once the filter assembly is installed, connect the electrical connector. Then inspect and verify that the drain valve is fully closed. After replacing the fuel filter, the fuel system will need to be primed with fuel and air purged from the system. We'll discuss this process later in the video. To replace the pre-filter, identify where it's located. The pre-filter will be located near or behind the main fuel filter. And if you're performing this procedure on a telehandler, there is an access cover located underneath the engine that needs to be removed to access the pre-filter. This process will be performed on an R-Series loader. Your machine may look different, but the process is similar. Place a container or absorbent mat under the pre-filter to capture any excess fuel that may drip. And clean the filter and the area around the filter, removing any excess dirt and debris. This will help prevent foreign material from entering the fuel system. Now install hose pliers on each of the fuel lines connected to the pre-filter. This will help reduce fuel spills once the hoses are removed. Then loosen the filter clamp. Move the hose clamps away from the pre-filter and off the hose stem. Remove each of the fuel hoses. Once the clamp is loosened, remove the pre-filter and discard. Keep in mind, when installing the new pre-filter, the filter needs to be installed in the correct orientation. Notice the position of the arrow on the fuel filter. This indicates the direction of fuel flow. Fuel flows from the pre-filter to the lift pump. It's recommended to record the orientation of the old pre-filter to ensure the new pre-filter is installed in the same direction. Make sure the new filter is installed in the correct orientation. Then install the new pre-filter by placing it in the filter clamp. Now install the input and output hoses. And move the clamps back into the correct position and secure the hoses. Tighten the clamp. Remove the hose pliers from the input and output hoses. Then clean the area and wipe up any spills. Now, depending on the machine, close the rear door, engine cover, access cover, or tailgate. And if the pre-filter was replaced on a telehandler, install the access cover. Next, anytime you replace the fuel filter or pre-filter, you'll need to prime the pre-filter before starting the engine and purge air from the fuel system. Press the run button on the control panel or turn the key switch, if equipped, to the run position. Wait for the fuel priming in process icon on the display to turn off, if the display is equipped with this icon. If the display does not have the fuel priming in process icon, allow the fuel pump to operate for 1 minute to remove air from the filter and prime the fuel system. The sound of the fuel pump may be heard as the filter is filled with fuel. Start the engine and allow it to run for 1 minute. Then stop the engine. Now, depending on your machine, open the rear door, engine cover, access cover, or tailgate. Then check for leaks around the fuel pre-filter and fuel filter. Your machine may also have a fuel tank vent or breather cap that allows the fuel tank to vent excess pressure from the fuel system. With a breather cap, the filter is built into the fuel cap, whereas a fuel tank vent is a separate filter from the fuel cap. Both types need to be replaced based on the maintenance schedule documented in your machine's operation and maintenance manual. If your machine has a fuel tank vent, it should be located by the fuel fill. If your machine is a compact wheel loader, then it's located by the main fuel filter. Remove the fuel tank vent filter or breather cap and discard. Install the new fuel tank vent filter or breather cap. Depending on your machine, close the rear door, engine cover, access cover, or tailgate if needed.